press play.
Not wholesale.
Okay.
Let's get some, see what the market's like over there and start buying some property.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, when let's just say she says New Mexico, it's like okay. So sending the payments to New Mexico is no problem. They have the exact same banks that we have here, or there's other ways we can get you paid. But what I would be worried about is obviously the money you need to move there. So between how do you think you're gonna take a moving truck or anything like that? And then you have a conversation, not just you
Right.
lecturing on it. So that way you get the numbers from them, and then you just add it up. I normally don't give, and my mom knows we don't give the first numbers. We're not gonna tell them it costs $5,000 to move. Actually, Felipe moved. How much did it cost? You were telling me the cost of some of the moving, Felipe.
Yeah, so the moving, it cost me about $5,000, and it's just, and I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot. It was just moving all my stuff because I got the pods. I went through the pods, and that was about $3,500 from California to New Mexico, and then just like money on a new rental, just the traveling expenses, new deposits for every type of utility, like all those things started adding up. But it was about $5,000, a little bit more. And then because like when you're moving, you're not cooking, so the food gets expensive. That's like little things people don't think about. But it starts adding up because we calculate everything in. It was over 5 grand.
This is good to
Uh,
know because when people have that objection, you
and
pretty much know what the expenses are. So you bought a big pod, you put a bunch of stuff in, and then they moved your pod to New Mexico, right?
yeah, so they took
Yeah.
it from here to Texas, where is the closest place, and it just sits there until I give them a new address to deliver it to. But the transportation was pretty expensive. But it was less stressful. But then again, it's just me, my wife, and her grandma. I don't have much furniture. Like I don't have a couch. I don't have a sofa. I don't have a dining room table. Like I had very minimal stuff, and it was that expensive. So I can think of
Yeah.
about a family that has kids and like a little house, like an average house. Man, it'd probably much more because I don't have a lot. It cost me a pretty penny to move.
So then I would say $10,000. So 5,000 for the moving expenses, maybe the other five for like first and last month's rent type of thing. I think around 10. And then if they start saying, well, I think I would need 15, or hey, I would need, but them to need all 70,000, they don't really need it, you know. So this is where you start negotiating and talking. But yeah, that's what I would say to her.
Okay.
I would say, look, I have a friend. This is exactly what I would say. Hey, I have a friend that moved to New Mexico. Where did you say you're moving to? And then you hear her out. Okay, well, he said he spent, on a pod. It costed like about $5,000 for that. And then I didn't hear the first and last month's rent or anything like that. But I'm not sure if you have that, but maybe an extra 5,000, so maybe $10,000. So let me ask you, would you take $10,000 down so that way you're able to move, and then the rest on payments, maybe over the next 6 months to a year, and then see what she says.
Okay.
That way she knows where you're coming from, and then you can hear how open she is to it, you know?
Especially run on anything with mobile homes, especially if it's not on land. She's not going to be able to sell it. Not a
Right.
the minority. It's the minority of people that have close to anywhere more than $5,000 in the bank. So most
Yeah.
people, most average person that's going to go buy a mobile home does not have $75,000 cash. Okay.
Yeah.
So when if I were to be talking to her, then I would bring that to her attention and say, well, in order to sell this, because it is a mobile home and it's not on land, you cannot get traditional financing for it. So,
Yeah.
FHA, VA, conventional is out the door. Hard money is out the door. Private money is pretty much out the door. So the only way to sell it is either cash or terms. And when you explain that, then they're like, "Oh, okay." And if they so you can also say, we could try to list it, and our we would have to say it has to be cash, because, like I said, there's no financing for something like that. That's why my question, as far as, is it on land? Um, and then you'll notice that it means no now when you talk to them, But once you explain all of that, that mobile homes are usually bought either cash or terms, then they, and if it is a listing, it's going to sit there forever, because somebody has to come up with 75,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if they have 75,000, they might as well go get a house instead of a mobile home.
Right.
So once you explain everything, then then that no is going to turn into a yes, I think.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of education, especially tell them the downfalls too,
Yeah.
especially, yeah, like she said, I mean, if it needs fixing up, if it's not ready to go, if they want it fast, they have to do something else,
Yeah. Okay.
Is there any other deals, Ron? Since he was here first, so he gets first dibs.
Yeah, I just got to work on that one. Your mom's got, and then the other one that's that house that's all boarded up. I got to follow up on that one because that'd be a nice piece of property there. Needs a lot of work, but it's got a wood floor in it because it does have a crawl through on the bottom. But they've even somebody even took the water heater out of there. So, but the water heater was on the outside of the house. But it needs a lot of work, but it's a nice property, and also the backyard backs up to the street behind it, so you could actually maybe put another garage or put another unit or something on the back and be able to have access to the back of the property.
Ron, you sound like a different person since you and I were talking. I'm gonna call you Mr. Cash Flow. Now you think cash flow, right? Now you're looking at ways to creating additional income. That's not the Ron when I met a year ago. That's good. I'm proud of you.
So I want to go over some congratulations to some people. Before that, should I do maybe set the intention? Why not? I like these cards. Or actually, maybe I should do the one that we got this morning. Is that fine?
No, do another different one.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah, no. Full card.
I'm just gonna pick one randomly. I already shuffled it earlier. Anyway, is this fine, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Think big and act big. Huh? Small thinking and small actions lead to being both broke and unfulfilled. Big thinking and big actions lead to having both money and meaning. The choice is yours. That's pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
It goes hand in hand with what some of us are working on.
Okay, so I want to give some congratulations real quick. First of all, we were supposed to send an offer and something got stuck in email, but I want to congratulate Josephine because that's in the process. So hopefully everything goes through. So Josephine is buying, I think we mentioned this last time, actually, she's buying a multifamily. So that is awesome.
Good job.
So can I brag? She's gonna
sure.
go just 1 minute. She's gonna go from one property, cash flowing about $100 to 4 properties that would, if this offer goes through, well, she's gonna cash flow almost 10 times that. With so that card that was just read, Josephine, that one's for you. That card was when I read it, when I heard it just now, I was like, think big.
I laughed too, yeah.
That's you. That's exactly what you're doing, is you're taking action. I'm so happy for you. So excited for you. You're taking massive action. And if we take little steps, I mean, we've taken little steps all of our lives, and look at, most of us aren't where we want to be, right? So that's a way that you're leveraging your money to the max, and you're still staying within conforming limits and maximizing cash flow. So that's good. That's gonna be able to help you, offset your income. And man, cash flow is king, right? So I'm excited. When I make an offer on a property, guys, whether it's Josephine's or anybody's or mine or whatever, a client that I don't even know and they're just a buyer, I always say, you know what, God, I do whatever professionally I can do. And then when I send it, when I get sent, I go, you know what, God, if this property is for him or her, let it be. And if not, let it be too. So now it's not on me, it's on God.
Was also submitted to your insurance, and once the insurance
Who's
Somebody
that?
is talking about insurance.
authorizes it, the DME company will be paying.
Oh, it was wrong. Just
Yeah. So everybody get what I'm saying? Because and it works just like the intentions. It's so amazing because I've had buyers that they don't get the house, and the house that God, the universe, whoever you believe in, wants for them is not on the market yet. And then all of a sudden we get the perfect house and they're, for them. So whenever, if it doesn't go through, it's like, okay, that wasn't the one that God wanted next, because I laid the intention and I said, God, I already did my part. You do your part. If it's for him or her, let it be. And if not, let that be too. Right.
And the cool thing is it's all a matter of a property moving into a more profitable property. Because over time, when you get equity, you want to make sure that you create cash flow. So you have to move it into, in this case, a different, from just a single family residential to multifamily. But she's not paying really out of pocket because it's coming out of the other property. Right, guys?
So this is a 2-hour class. I'm just gonna give you
Next
one
person.
sentence. No, I'm just gonna give you one sentence on that. If you ever sell a property as an investor, you take those funds and get at least 2 or 3 with that money. So if you sell one, you have to multiply it, right? When you multiply 1 times any number, it becomes a greater number, right? So if you sell one property, you get 2, a minimum of 2. If you sell 2, you should get a minimum of 4, and that's how you increase your wealth. So there, I did a really, we'll expand on that one day, but basically that's my short version.
And then the next person I want to congratulate, we just closed the deal. This is the person that referred it, and he's getting his first wholesale deal. So if he wants to mention the number, that's up to him. But yeah, and what's cool is the client, we're actually going to help him get a loan and a property. So that's 3 transactions. On the investment for getting this, then on the buyer and the seller. Okay, so yeah, that is pretty awesome. Just from an accidental conversation, right, Tony?
Yep.
So, Tony, can I interview him for 2 minutes?
Sure.
I told Ernest I was going to try to stay quiet and let him run the show today. Guess what, guys?
Doesn't look like it's happening.
It's not working. Okay. Here's what I want you guys to get. Tony's background, for those of you that don't know, is he knows transaction coordinating. So some of you may think, oh, he's been doing real estate. No, transaction coordinating means that he knows how to shuffle the paper. That means when an escrow is opened, then he makes sure that all the disclosures are done and maybe order appraisals and things like that. Okay, so that's like the back end. How much experience, Tony, do you have as a real estate investor?
None.
Okay, so no, you've never wholesaled a deal in your life, correct? Okay, so all he did, so here's the thing, he just took action. That's what he did. And so tell us the story of how this happened real quick.
Well, actually, it was like Ernest mentioned, it was kind of an accidental conversation. I was planning with my friend to meet up to hang out, and he happened to mention, oh, I can't that day because I have a real estate agent coming by to look at my house. And that was kind of like a red flag for me. And I said, well, what do you mean a real estate agent? And he said, well, I want to sell. And I said, well, before you do that, let me have my bosses take a look. And maybe there's something that we can do for you. So because of that simple conversation, that simple exchange, and like Ernest mentioned, it was accidental because we weren't discussing real estate. We were discussing when we were going to go hang out. So that's how that came about to be. And a couple of weeks later, the deal is closed. And it was easy. He loved the way we did it. He was incredibly excited. Letitia and Ernest saw him when he signed the papers. So that's how that deal came to be. It was just asking the right questions.
Yeah. So he not only sold us the property, now he's also going to get a new house. So we're doing the loan and then we're doing the real estate. So that's 3 transactions with one client, only because Tony asked a question and then he said, here, you need to talk to this person. And that's it. You don't have to be the expert. And I point that out only because sometimes there's people that have been trying to get into real estate for years and they're waiting to learn everything to take action. So you don't have to know everything. You just have to put us in front of the people and then, you get paid, So congratulations, Tony.
Thank you. I'm excited.
So Ernest, I think, is going to go through that deal. Do you guys want to hear a little bit about that deal? Okay, Ernest, they don't want to hear about the deal.
Yes.
Okay, go like this. Yes. So I know.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to go over that deal. So, sorry, hold on. Take over real quick because somebody's trying to get on, so I'm trying to send this to him.
Okay.
Were y'all going to show how you figured out
So let me share with
the
you
deal?
a little bit of things, a couple of things about these deals. This is what an investor would call a dead deal. Okay. So this is a term deal. This is any wholesaler in the planet would say no to, and any flipper in the planet would say no to. So Ernest will pull pictures and stuff right now, but I'll tell you the back end a little bit. First of all, the house was rehabbed maybe a couple years ago or something. So the flooring is great, new appliances, new kitchen cabinets. So everything's pretty in decent shape. It just needs a little cleaning and blinds and just, minor stuff. You're still going to put in a little bit. So there's the picture when of the little house. It's a cabin in Crestline, and yes, we're going to have we're gonna throw something. We're gonna start doing some things once COVID is over and we can get together and do a few things. We're gonna do. You want to take over, Ernest? Because
Yeah.
Am I stealing your? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. It's Norman's trying to get on.
Okay, well, you tell me when to stop.
No. He was just trying to get on. So if you can text him or something, I gave him the link. I don't know why he can't get on.
What?
Whoa. Okay. All right. You guys can all hear me, right? Just kind of put your thumb up. Make sure. Okay. Azucena can. All right. So this is the cabin. So I think me and Tony went up there, I think like a couple of days, later. And when we went, believe it or not, the snow was like up to here. It was like 2 or 3 feet. So, we had to do a few things to it, but it was so funny, like jumping on the snow, and it was hard enough to step on. And like we walked over. It was pretty funny. But anyway, this is originally how it looked like. And it's funny because now it looks like this now that they've left. So I'm going to show you a quick before, but now it's pretty much back to this. So this is originally when it was sold to him. So the front pretty much looks the same. So it's a little cute cabin, right? Let me go back. So the inside, that person that sold it to him actually sold it with all the furniture. And then I just bought it from him with all the furniture. So literally the furniture just keeps going from buyer to buyer. So it looks exactly pretty much back to this, right? Right, guys? Mom and Tony, it pretty much looks like this again. So we have all of these things. Let me see if I can get my annotation. There we go. These things got kind of old. So, I'm pretty much throwing it away. But and then this thing wasn't there, so I don't know if he didn't get that. But everything else we have. Let me clear this. So literally this we got, this we got, this we got, the kitchen, this and this. So pretty much everything is good. So it's literally back to this. Let me go back. Okay, there we go. Oh, there's Norman. Okay. So there's that. We just have to put blinds because there was no blinds that were put into it. That's when they staged it.
Question.
But it looks pretty nice cabin, right?
Question.
Look at this. Yes.
Is this the one you bought?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. So
Can we know the price?
Yeah, I'm gonna go over all the analysis and everything in a second.
Okay.
I'm just showing you guys the cabin.
Okay.
But yeah, this is pretty much exactly how it looks like. Yep. And when me and Tony went, this is how it looked like. I don't know if you guys can see.
It's hard to
Um,
see. They're too small.
Let me see if I can zoom in.
Yeah.
Okay, is this fine? See,
No,
they just had, okay. Can you guys kind of see?
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
It's
see.
too small.
Okay.
It's too small. We can see, but it's too small. But it's okay, I guess.
Okay. So pretty much the only thing is he had a bunch of stuff everywhere. He was living with his wife and kid, and it's just too small to do that. So we plan on doing like an Airbnb type of thing with it. Okay. And then this I took a quick Instagram thing. So I was trying to download it, but I couldn't get it, so I'd rather just show it to you guys from here. Let me just go over here. There we go. Can you guys see in here?
Mhm.
I'm back up here at the cabin, so I just wanted to show you around. Right now I'm in the backyard. So I'm gonna come down, and I kind of want to do like a before and after video. So this is the inside. I bought it with the furniture, in case you're thinking that, but yeah, looks pretty nice. And that's pretty much that. Okay. So now let me go over basically what I told them, what happened and all that stuff. So that way you guys can learn the process. Sound good?
Yeah.
So when Tony set up the appointment, I sat down with him. I did pretty much what I normally do. Now we already had some of the numbers. So he said, he wanted to list it. I believe Tony, right? He said he wanted to list it for, what was on Zillow. So when I sat down with him, let me pull up the net equity worksheet right real quick. Hold on. I can't do what my mom does where I can click and talk at the same time because I start losing what I'm doing. So let me go in here right quick. Okay, I got it. So let me share my screen. Okay, so I pretty much went over this. Okay, so we looked at what he wanted. He wanted pretty much 150. If we looked on Zillow, it was about 150. So he wanted that. I looked up existing finance, so I pretty much, let me annotate this so that way you guys can see. Okay, so I pretty much filled this out. So this is exactly what I told him. So you want to sell it for 150,000. Existing loan, I believe is 117, right, Tony?
Yeah, it was around 117.
Yeah, it was 117. So there's no second or third. And so pretty much I sat down and we just did these numbers. I can't scroll down with the annotations. Let me see. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I can't scroll when I'm annotating. Learn something new. Okay, so back payments, penalties, and costs. He didn't have any of that because he's current. So that stayed at 0. Let me annotate again. Okay. So this one was 0. I told him, okay, back taxes, liens. Do you have any other liens, any other things that you owe? And he said, no. Okay. Loan prepayment penalties. So he's 3 years into the loan. Not that he's going to do anything with that. Selling commission. So this is what I told him. Normally, if you listed like the agent that he was going to have an appointment with, they're going to list it for about 6% on average. Some could list it a little bit more. I've seen it at 7. Some do 5 if they want to, do something a little cheaper. But pretty much, what's 150,000 times 6%? So can somebody pull out a calculator? Or I guess I can pull
9,000. 9.
9. Did you get in your head?
Yeah. 9.
Okay. Oh man, see the annotation. You guys see that? Okay.
9,000.
Okay, just so everybody that doesn't That isn't calculated. 150 times 6% equals $9,000. Okay. By the way, that's for the real estate agents here on the call right now. That's the commission. So why you're not door knocking, talking to people about this, where you have 2 or 3 of those, I don't know why. Okay. So let me go back to annotations. All right. So $9,000. I told him. Okay. If you were to just list it, whether it's us or that other lady, obviously if you did it with us, I'd give you a break, but just so he gets an idea. Holding costs, I told him any investor, would have holding costs, 6 to 8 months. So basically holding costs is, okay, if we were to take it over to, like, let's say if it was a regular rehab, or we were going to rehab this, which it's really not a rehab, but 30 days to 45 days to close, then fixing it up, normally a month, month and a half, then putting it up on the market and showing it for other buyers, maybe another 2 weeks to a month. So already right there, it's about 3 to 4 months. So we always calculate about 6 months. Make sense? So, and I told him his payment is about $1,000. So 1,000 times 6 is 6,000. But I told him this one, there's really not holding costs. I'm not gonna do it that way, so I'll put nothing. But normally there is if it was a fixer-upper. Contribution to buyer costs. So some sellers, to sell it fast, what they do is they do contribution to buyer costs, about up to 2 or 3%. So what is 2%? Okay, well 3% is what, 4,500. So what's 3% or 2% of the 150,000?
3,000.
3,000.
Yeah.
Transactional expenses, so closing costs, about 2 to 3%. Another $3,000, right? Closing costs. Cosmetic fix up. I told them, okay, the interiors, touch up paint, cleanings, simple stuff. So it might be about $300, $200 to $300 on that, but it does need blinds. So I would say, I haven't, ran those numbers, but I think it's going to be like $800 or $900 for that. Outside work, you really don't need anything. I mean, we're going to put a fence, we're going to put all that, but when I talked with them, I mean, as far as renting it out on the inside, yard work. So total, okay. So total between the 9,000, 3,000, 3,000, this, let me clear this because I can't, it's kind of annoying that I can't do it with the annotations. So the 150,000 minus
15,
this,
3.
yeah, the 9,000,
15.3.
the 3,000, the 3,000, the 3,000, the yard work. So his net equity was going to be about 25 to 30,000 is what it came out. I would do it with you guys, but it doesn't let me like scroll down and show you guys the rest. So I told him this, okay? Let me, but do you guys understand how I got there before I go on?
Yeah.
Pretty simple, right? This is the simple net equity worksheet that we do. We also have, well, car forms actually has something a little bit more detailed, but this one's simple for people to follow along. They can literally calculate, and it's literally just a big number minus all of these things that have to be in there, and then it gives them that number down here.
Hey, Ernest,
so it gets people to think they're 117,000.
Okay, thanks.
So it gets people to start thinking not of the 150, because everybody's thinking, hey, I need 150. Which 150 is not going into their pocket. $30,000 would go into his pocket. Make sense?
Yes.
And
So
are the transaction fees always like 3,000, or does it depend on the amount of the loan?
No, it's 2 to 3% of the sales price.
Okay.
Of the
So the
150.
transaction fee change.
Yeah. So that's why it all depends. That's why it's blank, and it just kind of gives you the template, 2 to 3%, 2 to 3%. So you have to calculate it, or basically you and the seller calculates it right in front of them. Okay. So it doesn't matter if I'm talking to, somebody that had their property is $500,000, or somebody in this case, the 150,000. Okay. So regardless, 30,000. Now I have him down to 30,000 as far as his mindset. And Tony was there the whole time, so he can tell you, you know, I brought his mentally from 150 to 30,000. Now let's talk about 30,000, okay? So I told him, like, you can list it and you can sell it. This would be your profit, but you would have to, I would say, clean it up, put the blinds. I think, you know, it needs some stuff on the outside. But even without that, okay, you'd still have to pay the commission, this and that, and I would clean it up to start showing it. That way people can come in and see it. And he had like way too much stuff, honestly. So between all of those things, and he didn't really want to go up there and either do showings or clean up just to do showings and go through all of the time frame. Because I told him I can close in a week or two. Actually, it depends on you. Tony was there, he can tell you. And he said, okay, you know, it sounds pretty good. I do want to do it, you know, faster. And I told him, okay, it would save us and him a lot of money on closing costs and escrow and all these things that we have to pay if we could do something where we can do a seller carry or seller finance. Okay, so seller carry is pretty much me taking over his loan and I'm making payments of the loan and we're going to help him get another property. It won't affect him getting a new property and it'll actually help him on his credit. Okay. And he agreed to it. Okay. Because we can go a lot faster. And I told him, you know, I'll probably refinance maybe in the next, you know, few years, 3 to 5 years or so. But in the meantime, because in my own situation, and I'm talking to the choir here, but all self-employed people, it's a little bit harder to get a loan compared to somebody that has a job, right?
Mm.
So I told him I'm willing to pay a little bit more for that reason because, you know, it's a little harder to get a bank loan for me. And so that way with me, you don't have to wait all that time and then I'll be able to give you this money pretty much this week if you wanted to. You decide when do you want to move and I can either lease it back while you're still there or wait until you're completely out. Depends on you. And he wanted to move in like 2 to 3 weeks and he did. I was surprised. Most people, they say they're going to move out 2 or 3 weeks and they're still there for like 2 months. I've seen that happen a lot. So anyway, on the 30,000, I told him, okay, so that's fine. I'm gonna take over the payments on the loan, and so you don't have to worry about that. I'll pay, you know, I'll pay that. Um, on the $30,000, would you take payments on it? You always have to ask that. And so I originally I set it up where it's 15,000 now and then 15,000 in 6 months. That's originally how I set it up. But later, a few days later, he said, "Hey, can I get the whole thing up front?" And I said, you know, I thought about it. I'm like, all right, I guess, because he's doing me a favor, right? I don't have to pull, you know, do the loan, get a loan or do
Interest.
anything
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, and I'm not paying him interest, not doing any of that stuff. So we decided to go for that. But just so you know, normally, especially if you don't have it, you know, me and my mom were blessed to be able to do that. But if I wasn't able to, then I would have just said that. I would say, Michael is his name. Michael, I would love to, but I don't have, you know, my money's tied up right now or it's tied up in other property. So do you mind if we stick to the original, you know, agreement and give you, let's just say 10,000, and I can do payments. And then, I mean, if there's nothing else, you know, I could do it. So there's only, you know, he would have basically went with it. Okay.
Mm.
Make sense?
Yeah.
But pretty much on this deal, let me take off the annotations on this. Just to give you an idea, okay, let me go back to it. Okay. So now the Zestimate or the Redfin estimate, in this case, it's 159. So it actually went up a little bit. Okay. But I'm not too, I don't really care about that. That's just what's happening in the market. I mean, it's great, a little bit of equity, but what I really care about is the payment. Does that make sense? Especially if we're going to keep it.
Yes.
So the payments that I took over, we have the mortgage. It's like, I think the payments itself is like 900 and something dollars, right, guys?
Like
Tony?
1,000 something with.
No, just
Yeah,
the payment itself.
Yeah, it was like
Just the mortgage payment.
9 something.
Yeah, it's like 9 something. What's kind of pulling it up a little bit is the insurance And some of the other expenses, there's an expense I didn't even know. I guess it exists up in the cabins. There's a separate like sewage up there charge that I've never had when with properties down here. So that's kind of weird, but regardless, the payments are going to be about 1,100, maybe like close to 1,200. Now alone, if I were to get a renter and put somebody in there, I could make a couple $100 of cash flow and rent it out for, $1,200 to $1,400. But what I plan on doing with this is an Airbnb. So let me show you guys Airbnb.
What's that?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm going over.
To begin with,
All
I
right. So
more or less know.
Airbnb, yeah,
Bed and
Airbnb,
breakfast.
there's other companies out there, but Airbnb is one of the biggest short-term rentals. So
So
long-term rental is just putting a renter in there, do a 1-year agreement, right? And then they're going to pay for the next 12 months. Then you keep renewing. So that's a long-term, 12 months.
okay.
Short-term Airbnb, it's kind of like, people
Days or weeks.
instead of getting a hotel, they can get an Airbnb, and they can do it for a day, a week. I've seen 2 or 3 months, depending on what it is. I have multiple friends in this industry with Airbnb doing short-term rentals. Mom, it's Edgar Munoz.
Yeah.
He has about 4 or 5 properties just in Coachella alone, and he makes $10,000 a month just with those properties, and it's only rented out like half of the time.
Oh my God.
So it's
Wow.
it's really amazing. And then when it's not being rented out, he just goes over there and vacations,
Wow.
So in Crestline, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna book just to show you guys a week or whatever. Search. Um, Arrowhead. I put Crestline. I don't know why it's bringing all this other stuff. All right, here's a Crestline one. Here is a Crestline. Where is it? Here's another Crestline one. So look at this. Okay, Crestline, 125 a night.
But that's for guests.
I know, but 110 a night, 6 guests. These are big ones.
Put 1 bedroom.
Geez, there's a lot. All right, verified. Amenities, yeah, of course. Property type. I don't know why I'm putting the filter 1 bedroom and it's still coming up with 2 bedrooms.
But how many guests? Just put 2 guests.
Where's the guest on here?
I remember when I booked, there's a place somewhere.
Here, let me start over now. Crestline. Just do this week. Okay, here we go.
But just put 2 adults.
2 adults. Okay.
So that'll be like a 1 bedroom.
Okay. So, these are close, Lake Arrowhead, but I want to specifically do Crestline.
Oh, you don't have to find it in great detail. They can see the prices.
Okay, well, either way, you guys see 84, 100, 85, 89, 200. This one is 6 guests, a little bit bigger. Although it's only 2 bedrooms. This one's off the lake. It's so funny because I had seen this one the other day when I was looking around doing research. And it's a little cabin. The only thing is this one has another room. But I plan on switching out the couch in the living room and doing those pull-out couches so somebody can sleep in the living room too. Make sense?
Yes.
But it's very similar. Look, we're gonna put a TV up there. It's about 5 minutes from the Lake Gregory up there. Yeah, nice kitchen too. It'll be similar. This one, the only difference is that 1 extra room. So this one's 200 a night. So let's just say 100 a night. Okay. I have a feeling that 100 is going to be a no problem because some of these are little rooms too. So let's do the math. Okay. Let's calculator. Now with short-term rentals, I don't expect for it to always be rented, obviously.
Yeah.
So 15 to 20 days, I would say, right? So let's say
Yes.
20 days, we can rent it out times, on average, let's say $100. That's
2,000.
$2,000 a month. If I were to rent it as a normal rental, I would get literally
900.
$1,300 or so.
Mhm.
So I'm making more. On top of that, I have it for 10 days every single month. So guess what? We can have masterminds. We can go up there and relax. Do you guys see?
Awards.
That's why I'm excited about this, having this rental, because not only is it going to pay itself off and make more, but we can actually utilize it for masterminds, for one-on-ones when people close deals. This is what I'm thinking, okay? The point system, adding the timeshare component to it, so that way you can take a day, 2 days, 3 days, and go to the property with your points.
Oh, that's nice.
Start adding more and more into the Airbnb portfolio, and that way you can choose where you want to go spend that time when we're closing deals.
Oh,
You guys see where
wow.
my mind's at?
That's nice.
Isn't that pretty cool?
So Tony,
Yes.
so when are you going to start that? Because Tony just closed the deal. So does it start February or March? Tony, I'm hooking you up here.
All right, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it this month.
Oh shoot! Well, you automatically, Tony, have a free weekend. This thing came from you.
Yeah. Okay, there. See, I hooked you up.
I like the fun of that. Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna take you.
All right, cool. All right. So
But I want you guys to understand the structure of it. Now you see another exit strategy. Is that a pretty good exit? Airbnb, short term, paying itself off. You have
Yes.
access to it. If we rent it for 20 days, we have a full 10 days every single month.
Oh,
So I'm
yeah.
excited about the days that it's not being rented, honestly. Most people
Yes.
are excited about the days it's rented to make money. Mine's the other way around.
can I give away a free weekend?
Yeah, we'll be able to like give away free weekends and things like that, or during the week. I'm pretty sure that people want to go up there during the weekend. So during the week, it'll be easier to give away.
Yeah, I just had my buddy do an Airbnb, and he actually was looking for people to give him positive reviews. So if you let him know, he would give you a free weekend. You just got to give him a positive review.
Oh, that's
Okay.
cool.
Where's that property at?
Yeah,
It
where
was
the
in
property is that?
it was in out there like Palm Springs area.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, I like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. Maybe
yeah.
I should do that, huh? All of you guys give you one day that would, but you have to give me a free
hey,
review.
yeah, that's an idea, right? It's all about those reviews.
I like the one where when you close the deal, you get a couple days or whatever. That
I
way
think
you have an incentive.
Hey, I think Josephine, after we close your deal, I think you need to get a weekend too.
Ooh, there
All
you
that
go.
hard work.
I like that. Josephine, did you hear that? Ernest just gave you a weekend getaway.
Oh, sounds good.
Okay, so let's close this baby. Let's close on this.
It won't fit. It won't fit in.
And then we need a good review. Hey, Ernest, are you done? I wanted to add a little bit.
I just want to quickly summarize. So again, Tony, it was a random conversation. He set up an appointment. I sat down with him and I said, hey, even as a realtor or an investor or anything, let me show you what your net proceeds would be. Okay, so I took out the net equity worksheet. It's in the back office and in Google Sheets. So you guys all have access to it. Okay. Then I literally just went through the numbers just like I showed you guys. Okay. So you want to list it, whether it's me or your other agent, 150. Okay. What's the loan amount? Okay. That would have to be paid off and blah, blah, blah. And then just literally go down, then that big number, minus all of the expenses. So then it gets to that net proceeds number. And so you negotiate from there. Are they willing to take payments? Right? Are you willing to take payments Most people, they'll say, yeah, but I need something up front so that way I can move. That's normally, like, I would say 80% of the time, that's what they say. So then the next thing I always say is, okay, how much do you need to move? And so then they start giving me those numbers. Well, I need, $2,000 to $4,000 for first and last, blah, blah, blah. Let's just say they say 10,000. Okay, how about we do this? I'll give you 10,000 and then I'll make payments on the rest of the 30. And then, so if we can do something like that, would you want to close with me and get things going? And then they'll say yes. You want to structure it to a way where they say yes. That's why I said it that way.
Right.
That one's NLP. So if we can close whenever you want, does this sound like a deal? Yes. No? And so, yeah. So pretty much we went up there a couple times and then we signed papers with the notary the other day, and it's a done deal. In fact, I have it right here. I still have it right here. And by the way, on this one in particularly, the way we structured it for some of the new people is we put it under a trust. Okay. So if you guys look up the property, it's going to be under Waters Trust. Whoops.
Hmm.
Do you notice how it's not Ernest Martinez Trust? It's not it's not even Wealth Legacy Trust or anything like that, because you want to be completely private, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't really want people to know how many properties I have.
Right. Right.
So that's why we should put it into a trust, that and taxes. So let me tell you the whole tax aspect, okay? If he were to have sold normally, and actually I didn't even talk about the tax consequence. If he were to list and sell it, that proceeds 30,000, pretty much a percentage would have to go to the government, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So that got eliminated because of the way we structured it. And I literally wrote him a check. And I'm saving as well on the transfer. So what's cool is if I were to buy it normally, now I have a brand new property tax bracket. What I did is we put it into a trust. I bought the trust pretty much from him, so the taxes didn't change. You see that? There was no trigger on the taxes. So he's saving, we're saving, and it's being completely private.
Hey, Ernest.
Go ahead.
So let's talk about, so who was the trustee and who was the beneficiary initially? Before it was sold to you?
Well, him. We put him.
He was the trustee?
I believe. Mom, how would we structure that one? She's the one that did the paperwork.
I don't want to get too much into trust because that's like a whole class.
Okay.
But basically, we do it simultaneously. Except that what I do is I put the seller on as the trustee. He creates the trust, and at the same time he notarizes that. I hand him another piece of paper where he's transferring over to the whoever to us basically. So he's and then we just keep him there 1% beneficiary.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
To avoid the due on sell clause.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Okay.
So it's done, and I explained to him exactly how that's done. Like the notary, when she came, she was listening. She was just like, and then she turned around and she's like, and then she was just doing her own little thing. And then she says, I like how you explained it because they've never seen this before.
That's right.
They're used to going to notarize docs. And we just called them and said, hey, Tony set up the appointment, and it's 6 signatures, I think it was, and she's like, these papers, she's usually hasn't seen. So yeah, we do if you go in the back office, there's a whole thing on trust that we did, but I'm gonna do another one. We'll do probably like a Saturday on just trust.
Let's do it.
It's a very detailed. I mean, to really dig in,
Yeah.
Deep on
Okay.
how to do it, but it's yeah, we always pretty much all the time we always buy on with trust.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much I'm the trustee on it, but nobody will know that I own it. It's just under Waters Trust. Who owns that? So nobody can literally, the cold callers or people that skip trace, like Ron, what you were doing. Actually, whatever some of you guys
Tell
do.
them why Waters.
You won't be able to skip trace and never know who owns it.
Tell them why Waters Trust, mijo.
It's just on the street. It's on Waters Street.
Water Street.
So then we just call it whatever the street name, trust.
So guys, when you have a baby, it takes you forever to figure out a name, right?
Yeah.
So we came up with this idea a long time ago, or I probably stole it from somebody. It's okay. I'm gonna steal ideas from each other, right? So instead of naming it Martinez Family Trust or something, and people know, oh, it's theirs, right? So you just go the street name trust, street name trust, street name trust. So whenever we get another property, I already know the name before we don't have to spend 2 hours trying to figure out a name.
Oh, that's good.
Street name trust is usually what it is.
Very good idea.
I mean, that's just how we handle it.
And how much does the trust cost and who pays for it, them or us?
Generally, if you go to an attorney, we pay it. The buyer, whenever we make an offer to the client, we always say we'll cover all the fees, because that makes it. And I'll give you, after this, I'll share an example of something I did yesterday. But generally, we cover it. If you go to an attorney, it's about $5,000. So generally, it doesn't cost us that much. We do it in-house. We do it in-house. Let's just put it that way, and it gets done.
That's everything. I'll just hand it over to you.
Okay.
That's pretty much everything on Crestline.
All right, you did a great. Did he do a good job?
Very good, very good.
Okay. I wanted to just share the return on investment and the actual numbers. Okay, so if you do the math, he assumed 117, right?
Right.
Gave him 30. That's 147. Let's just say that you pay 3,000 for the trust, okay, or for paperwork and this and that. And just to keep it, now you're at 150, right? And remember, it was worth 160. So you're pretty much buying, and you're still going to put in a little bit of money. So you're buying at retail. And remember, at the beginning, I said that this is actually something that a wholesaler would pass on, and a rehabber would pass on, right? Any investor would pass on, because there's no value. You know, by the time you clean it up, put blinds in it, there's no room to cover closing costs if you're going to sell it to somebody else. There's hundreds of thousands of deals like that everybody sees as trash. And yet, this is going to generate really good cash flow, right?
We're pretty much trash diggers.
We're creating the income by using different strategies. So remember last week, what did you say, Ernest? I'm sorry?
We're pretty much trash diggers then, the way you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, give me your crap. Let's see how we can make it work. We have to see what others don't see. I've said this before. We have to do what others don't do, right? Can you imagine if everybody did the same thing? Go to work, get a job, get to work, then everybody'd be broke. There would be no millionaires. Everybody does, you have to do what others aren't doing in order to get what others aren't getting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you look at a property, don't ever turn it away. There's tons of investors out there that are just like, okay, this is my box and it doesn't fly, so let me just throw it away, right? So what you have to do is not just what Ernest and I do is we look at what we have in front of us, and then we scan. It's not like we have a list and we just go through, okay, doesn't work with this, it doesn't work with this. We just sort of scan, or when you tell me a deal, I'm scanning in the back of my brain, okay, this will fit, this technique, that technique. So in this case, Ernest decided, you know what? I'm going to use the Airbnb. That's one thing we haven't done. We know of it. We've taken classes on it and whatever, but we've never actually done one. So this will be, his baby on that, because he's wanted to do it for a while. And but here's the important thing. So one is, or a couple of points that I wanted to make. We practically bought it retail. I mean, it was bought retail. Does everybody agree with that?
Yes.
No investor would do that. The other thing is, you always look at, how can I maximize cash flow? Maximize, okay, is the key word. Cash flow is king, but how do you maximize it? Maximize it. And so in this case, instead of a couple $100, you can get $1,000 a month, with cash flow, and have access to the facility for all of us to enjoy. So thank you, Ernest, for thinking that and for doing that. So we're going to have some good time. It's a tiny little cabin. And maybe one day we'll go by our, as a group, we'll have to probably take turns or something. But eventually it's like, you know what, just go with your spouse or, sneak away with whatever for a weekend. So that'll be cool. And we're still covering the payment and making money. So that's a good thing, right? But here's another thing I want you to see. As an investor, if Ernest would have wanted to just buy it at 150,000, just to keep it as a rental and to be able to cash flow $200-300 a month, he would have had to do 20% down. Okay, I was going to do this on the board, but you guys following me, right? So 150,000 times 20% is $30,000. Okay, so we still came up with, in this case, we still came up with the $30,000, but he didn't have to go get another loan, right?
Right.
And here's the thing about that, okay? Banks limit you about how many loans you can have in your name. In other words, have you guys heard the saying, the rich keeps getting richer and the poor poorer? You guys heard that before?
Yes.
This is one of the techniques, in my opinion, that the rich use. The rich includes not the, when I say the banks, it's not the tellers that we go and we talk to, right? When we pull money out of a bank account. I'm talking the owners of the bank. I'm talking Chase, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, who's owned by the Vatican, the big people, right? The people that are the wealthiest, not just in the United States, but in the world, right? They control what us smaller people do. And this is one of the ways that they control it. And if you guys don't believe me, one day when you're in the office, I'll show you, remind me to price a loan. And I do this, we've been doing this a lot. You go in there on pretty much any bank and you price a loan. Oh, I want a loan for 500,000, this and this and that. And it'll ask you, how many loans, how many mortgages does the borrower have? And if you say 12, 13, they're like, oh, we don't want to touch him. He has too much property. Okay. Now you tell me, if I want to have 10 cars or 20 houses, who is the bank to say that I can't have that, right? So that's, in my opinion, is a way of limiting us and making the average Joe staying poor. Okay. So all these techniques that we share with you guys, it's stuff that first of all, we're doing ourselves. And second of all, it's stuff that we've learned, like it's taken us a lot of money to learn it and a lot of years. But it's about doing what the rich do, right? Holding properties on trust, seeing what others don't see. And so same $30,000, because had he done 20% down, but now he had to qualify. And if Ernest has 10 properties already, guess what? He can't get a loan. But because it's in a trust and he assumed the loan, it doesn't matter. The loan's not in his name. Now he's gonna make the payment every month. And that's the first thing. So what I'm about to tell you, don't think that I'm telling you because you don't have to pay that debt. Okay, so I want to be clear on this. You always pay the debt, especially if you're cash flowing. I mean, why would you not, right? But the person, the seller is liable for the debt. In this case, us, Ernest, the buyer, is not liable for the debt. Is he responsible? Yes, he made a commitment to the seller, and we've never done it to where we haven't been able to meet our commitments. Obviously, the house has to be able to cash flow and pay for itself. Otherwise, you're not going to get into that. But do you understand how huge it is? You do not have debt, but it's your property and you have all the benefits of the cash flow, appreciation, depreciation, everything that goes with it, but you're not liable for that debt. You know how huge that is?
Big.
Big. And so a lot of people go, wait a minute. So here's the thing, 30,000 and 30,000. Should I, either way, you would have paid at 20%, 30,000 plus closing costs. Closing costs add another, call it 5,000. Okay, so it would have been like 35,000. Now you're responsible and you're still liable and everything, you know, whatever, versus doing it this way. And so it's a win-win, you know, it's a win-win. Can I share another deal real quick? I'm not gonna go through a whole lot.
Yes.
Actually, I have it up here. And this is a whole lot. How much is the cash flow, mijo? If we said 1,000, huh? Let me finish up with this. I hate to use this, but I want to show you guys.
The cash flow from
Yeah, let's just say if you rent it out 10 months before I go to the next one, I want to spend 15 minutes on this one. Because this is $100,000 cash flow. I mean, deal that the profit that I negotiated yesterday. So I thought I'd share that one. And that one's ongoing, so we're gonna be sharing as we move along. There's a lot of lessons in this one as well.
Yeah, I can do that. Let me see.
Okay, here's I don't want to let me just say it. Okay, just to wrap up on Crestline, our waters. It's in Crestline, so we call it Crestline waters. If you do $1,000 a month cash flow, assuming that what he said, renting it just 15 days out of the month or something like that, I think it was like $1,000, right? If your payment is, or like 800.
No, the cash flow is gonna be $800. Yeah.
Okay, so if cash flow is 800 a month, so 800 a month times 12, you're looking $9,600 a month. Everybody with me?
A month.
A year.
A year. Everybody with me?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Now you spend 30,000 to be able to get that. So you're making 32% return on your investment on that 30,000
In 1 year?
in 1 year. Okay.
Wow.
The next year is going to go up. The next year is going to go up. Now this is just cash on cash. I want you guys to really get this. This is cash on cash. So let me repeat the formula. I've given it to you before. We did it last week with, maybe I should share my screen. Okay, allow me to share it, Neil, please.
Okay. Yeah. Give me a sec.
Because so that you guys have a visual, I want you guys to really understand how powerful this is. Okay, so now you guys have to bear with me. I still am not used to doing this, okay? So
No problem.
I could type here. So here, if you take your cash flow and you multiply that, just so that you guys have the visual, times 12 months, okay, that's $9,600, right?
Right.
Now you take the $9,600 and then you divide that by your investment, which was the 30,000 cash, right? Or the 30,000. That is going to give you the 32%.
Okay.
And this is your return on investment. This is what we call your return on investment, but that's just a little piece of it. That's not the whole thing. That's cash on, that's what we call cash on cash. That's just how much that cash is making you on a yearly basis. Then he just acquired depreciation benefits, appreciation benefits. So you have, oh, wait, I did that wrong. So you have depreciation benefits. Okay, remember we talked about that. I'm not going to go into detail right now, and I misspelled it, but that's okay, as long as I know how to make money. I think I'm allowed that. See,
Yes, you are.
I still misspelled it. See, you don't need to learn how to spell. You can still make money. You know how to add 1 + 1 and 2 + 2 to make money in real estate. Okay, you still have depreciation, appreciation. We still have the benefits of using the property. We still have all kind of stuff. Okay, that is powerful. And we bought a house without any equity in it. Just at retail.
Yeah.
Just at retail. Now let me share this one with you. Okay. Any questions on that?
No.
Let's get it. That's huge,
Yes.
right? That's really huge. Like, let me see if I can share this with you. You guys looking at my screen?
Yes. At
Okay.
you.
This is this one. Okay. I'm gonna show you the pictures first. Look at this house, okay? Are you guys looking at pictures?
No.
Nope.
Okay. You see anything? You see pictures?
No.
Baby pictures.
Your
Ah,
picture.
Got
Your
baby
face.
pictures.
you see my picture?
Your face.
You see my face like live.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so what am I doing?
We
Let's see.
don't know.
Let's see what I'm doing wrong.
Maybe Ernesto knows.
Yeah, Ernest, I'll have to call. Let me see. I'll have to call him and he'll figure it out.
Oh,
Okay.
he's not there?
Oh, you know why? Maybe because I have two screens. So I have to, do you see it now?
It's
It's
yes.
coming up now. Yeah.
Yes.
What do you see?
A lot of pictures.
Oh, okay.
Little ones.
Okay, because I guess I have to share it again.
Okay.
So you see a kitchen now?
Bunch of them.
Huh? Bunch of-
There's a lot of little pictures.
Yeah.
Okay, you see the kitchen now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. I figured it out.
Yay!
Okay, just real quick so that you guys see the house, okay? And I'm
Okay.
just gonna go real quick on the pictures, okay?
Okay.
As I tell you the story. I always take pictures like this of detailed stuff, okay? So this is the beautiful kitchen. This is the beautiful kitchen, okay? So I know it's, this is called the fixer-upper. So you can do the same technique with beautiful houses or ugly houses is what we call them. Bathroom, okay? So this needs a complete rehab, okay? So your normal, okay, so your average, or actually, not that we're not normal, but most investors will make a cash offer on this, right?
Right.
This is the yard. Look at how big it is, okay?
Yeah.
It's huge, okay? So here's the story, and then I'm gonna show you some numbers, okay? So the story on this house, the lady, now what are you guys seeing? Because this drives me crazy with the two screens.
You hugging all of your money.
Me and all my my junky thing. So the lady is she's sick, she's handicapped, whatever. Her husband, and see, the story is very important when you talk to them, okay? They have to have a need or a distress. So her need is that her husband left her about 3-4 years ago, dropped her off at the hospital, never came back.
Wow.
Okay. And right now she's, she needs to move on and go to her country because she's sick and whatever. She hardly has any income. So here's what I did. Now here's the biggest challenge with this property, which is not really that, I've done it once before, okay? And then I'm gonna show you the numbers. Do you guys see the net equity worksheet?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you about that in a second. So the story then is this lady put it up on the market about 2 years ago, a year and a half, 2 years ago, and she couldn't sell it. And the reason she couldn't sell it is not because it's a fixer-upper, because tons of investors would want to buy it, right? They're out chasing for them right now. We all are. Problem is that she only owns 50% of the house. The other 50% is owned by his grandkids, 3 grandkids. Okay. And they didn't want to sign, they didn't want to sell. So the lady has a bunch of money sitting there in equity because the house is pretty much paid for, but she can't sell it because the others don't want to sell. So I told her, I said, that's not a problem. I'll buy your part. I'll be the bad person. I will take them to court. I will do what needs to be done. Okay. So this is a little outside the box. I sat with her yesterday and I said, look, now just between us, the house is worth about $385 to $430, okay? In optimal, brand new everything, or about 430. However, when you meet with the client, you want to do not the highest, right? Because I want to bring them down.
Yeah.
You guys follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I did find an active opinion and a close comp that's around between 385 to 380 to 390. So I said, let's go with the 385. And then I subtracted all the expenses. I'm not going to go in detail because of time, you know. There is a lien. I'm waiting on the prelim, but there's a lien for about 45. There might be two. So we just tentatively talked about all this. I said tentatively it'll be about 15,000 in legal fees. If I need to go that route, I might just do it myself. I don't know, you know, so I just sort of threw some things. She's behind in taxes. If you were to sell, you know, commissions is this. Actually, I already went through it, huh? Holding cost, contributions, etc. In repairs, if the house needs about 70,000 in repairs. So then I added this and I said, look, there's about 191 in equity. That's your true. You guys see this? The same thing.
Yeah.
You know, this is the true number. However, you only owe half of it. So it's about 95,500. Okay, you with me so far?
Yeah.
So then I actually, now let me show you something else. I took with me yesterday and I showed her. I went and I sort of calculated how much I needed in repairs and I came up with the 70. And when I started to go through it, she says, oh, I know it needs a lot. So I didn't even finish it because she was like, no, I know. And then the plumbing, and she started to tell me some stuff. So she was good with all that. Okay. So here's what I want to see your faces now. So I'll stop share. Okay, so here's the key, and this is why the them being in distress and knowing their story is so important. I told her, I said, she agreed the house on the 70 in repair. She says, oh yeah, I know. And she knows that the 95,000, you know, is actually more closer to the net. I also told her, I really don't know the payoff on that 45,000. And it looks like it may have, there might be two for 45, 40 and one for 43, or they may have refinanced it. I said, I don't know until I order payoffs or whatever. So she understood. And I said, assuming that this, you know, you have this number, what is the best that you can do? And she says, you know what, if you can give me 90, I'm all for it. So she already automatically reduced it by 5,500, right? And then I said, look, here's the thing. I don't have $1 million in the bank yet. It's getting there. I didn't tell her it's getting there, but I said, I don't have $1 million in the bank yet. I don't have deep pockets. So we'll make this work as long as, you know, you and I can work together and come in with a compromise. She says, oh yeah, I want to make it work. Guess what? Nobody else can do that deal, right? That's
Right.
a big advantage. So I said, so then I said, look, what I can do is give you a sum of money when we sign the paperwork, which is the next time we meet. And then when you move out, I'll give you another sum and the rest in paper on, you know, the rest on payment. And she said, yeah, that worked, you know, yeah, you know, that's great. And I said, do you have an amount of how much it would cost you to move? And we went through that scenario and she didn't really know. She's moving to Ecuador. And so normally, the key is do not say the first number. Whoever says the first number loses. But sometimes they're totally in denial, like they totally don't know. So you have to. So my original number in the back of my head was 9,000. Okay, because there's 100,000 in there in equity, right? So I said, well, how about I give you 3,000 when we sign? And because I didn't want to like 1,500, the ladies really, you know. So she said, wow, yeah, that'd be fantastic. And I said, okay, so when we sign the papers, I'll give you 3,000. That way you can start setting up or paying whatever it is that you need to move. And then when you move out, I'll give you another 3,000. So that now I'm giving her 6 in payments. And then I said, the rest of the money, how would I can just make you payments. I said, are you okay with me making you payments? And she says, well, you know what? I said, I know that you're going to be in Ecuador, but no matter where you are, as long as we have a commitment, I'll wire it, I'll do whatever. I could do direct deposit, whatever works best for you. And right away she started to say, she goes, well, in my country, there's no Bank of America, and there's no like Wells Fargo or the more, the names that we know.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, so, what we could do is, can you send it Western Union? She says, I know it would probably be an inconvenience, but if you can send it that way. And I said, you know what, whatever works for you. Yes, I could definitely do Western Union. So she already agreed to the payments. Okay. So it was very, very easy. Now here's the end story. And this is work in progress, right? If I were to pay her the 90, and assuming that I paid them 90, which I'm not going to do, but let's just say, okay, I'm out 180. Now, do you think I'm going to spend 70 on repairs?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So here's the key on repair, and we'll do a whole thing because I know we can talk for, but you're always going to go by the higher estimates, right? But then when you actually do the work, I look for, the cheapest price, of course. And some stuff I wouldn't, some stuff if you're going to rent it, you're going to put less quality material than if you're going to flip it, right? So, but for the purpose of that, I'm just going to, do it. So if I were to do that and pay those liens, you're talking 100,000 profit. Okay, at the end of the day. Next time I'll show you, like I said, it's work in progress. And once it's done, then I'm gonna do something like on actual figures, and what I did. I could tell you what I plan to do as far as the other signatures and stuff, but then, we'll see how it goes. Okay. So does that sound exciting, guys?
Sure
Yeah.
does.
Okay.
Yes.
You know what would make it more exciting?
What?
If it was your deal that you found
Oh,
and brought to us, right? So Azucena, when are you gonna find that deal? You guys need to get on it.
I think I have it already.
Over.
I think I have it already.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's do it and put it together.
Yeah.
I want you guys to understand we're sharing all this not to brag and to like, hey, we're doing it. Yeah. We need to share together, okay? We need to close some deals and hey, make it happen.
Yeah.
Make it happen. If it doesn't happen right now, it's
Just one question.
Uh-huh.
One question. What you gonna do with the other owners?
Okay, so I thought you didn't pick that up. I've done it before with somebody else, okay?
Really?
This is 3 people. They're the guy's grandkids, okay?
Okay.
So first of all, I don't know if her ex-husband is dead or alive. And so she told me a little nugget yesterday that she didn't know she told me, but I got. So he notarized, he quit claimed it over to 50% the grandkids, 50% the wife. And about 3 years later, because he did this in 2011, and then in 2015, he notarized a paper saying, it is my will, it's in Spanish, and it says, it is my intention that if I die, the house is sold and it's split 50-50 between my grandkids and stuff, which the deeds supersede this letter. However, where it will come into play, and I have the letter, I'll show it to you, is because if that man is dead, all I have to do is ask them. I said, this is what your grandpa wanted to do, and you need to sell it. And I'm already 50% buyer, so I already own it 50%. So here's the letter. You guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know if it Okay, it says declaration, special declaration, and it's notarized, okay? So that's basically what it says. If the man is dead, because he's 83, if he's dead, then that letter will help me when I go in front of the judge and I go, hey, he wanted it sold when he gave it to him. And I already own 50%, I want to buy them out, and they don't want to sell it to me. And this is his will, so that'll help me there. But assuming that the man is alive, he has nothing to do with this now. He quit claim to deed, his part. I'm gonna contact the 3 people and I'm gonna say, hey, congratulations, nice to meet you. I'm your new partner.
That's funny.
So you don't know me, I don't know you. So either you buy me out or I buy you out. What do you want?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna sell it to them. If they want it, I'm gonna make a profit on it.
Okay.
Sell, which they're not gonna want it, and I am 100% sure they're not gonna want it. First of all, there's taxes that are due, and the right of redemption expires next year. Okay. I looked them up. I skip traced them. I scripted 2 of 3. One of them is 30 years old. The other one is 40 something. The 40 something one has a judgment for like a credit card judgment on his record, which means that he's broke. And so most 30-year-olds, the average 30-year-old is also broke. And I didn't check, I couldn't find the other one, but I'll look at it. But the thing is, more than likely, they don't have the money to buy me out.
Oh.
So then I'm gonna make them an offer. I'm gonna say, look, you're either buying me out. This is what, this is what buy me, pay my money. This is what you need to pay me, and pay all these liens, or
you pay them.
Whatever. Okay. If they don't respond, I'm gonna give them 10 days to respond. So I will communicate with them first and say, I'm the owner, we're partners, and I don't want to be your partner, so buy me or I buy you. And if they don't respond within 10 days, which is what legal notice I have to give them, then I will probably get an attorney to send them a letter saying, if you don't, if you have to do this, we're going to start a court case. Okay. And I'll probably pay an attorney a couple $100 to write it. Only I can write the letter, but I want it signed by an attorney. Okay. And then I'll give them 10 days to respond. And if they don't, I will open a case where I'm suing them to unclog the title. And I will go in front of the judge and say, look, this is how the property looks. They've never done nothing. They were actually this lady, blah, 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 whatever. So I need to fix it and do this, but I don't want to put money into this property unless it's mine. So then I'll get a judge to help push him. Do you think that it's gonna go that far?
No.
How many of you guys think that?
No.
I'm hoping, and I really think that it's gonna stop with the first couple of letters or whatever.
Yeah.
Because if I offer them some money, they'd rather take the money, especially if they're like, give me the money and
exactly,
right. Plus they live in San Diego, all of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this little deal. I'm really.
Where is it? Where is the property?
Rialto. It's right by the office. It's not that far.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, so I'm excited, but I'm gonna be more excited when you guys bring deals. Susana, when you tell me about the one you have, and then we can structure it and put together and then make profit. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
When can we talk?
I'm always, just call me, text me. So you guys have my calendar.
Okay.
Text me. If I don't respond right away, it's because I'm with a client or I'm in the middle of something, but I usually respond within, an hour or two or whatever, worst case scenario.
Okay.
So, yeah. Any questions before we wrap it up, guys? Did we have a good meeting today? Did you guys?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yes.
That's what these meetings, we should just be talking about deals and money, and guess what? What you focus on expands, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we schedule the Saturday? When we're gonna have it, or you want to talk first and figure out when we can do it? Remember, we're doing a Saturday training once a month, so we'll probably do. Because I feel like we're rushing through. There's so much to cover, like on Thursday. That's
and I had a quick question too.
Sure.
if there's a couple of properties that I found like on Zillow or whatever that they're multifamily, et cetera, and they seem like they're a halfway decent deal, what would be the first step? Just the contacting them and then doing the net equity worksheet?
No, here's the net. I'm gonna do a training on just the net equity worksheet. Another word for the net equity worksheet is the estimated buyer's cost or estimated seller's proceeds or proceeds. So if you're licensed and you go into the car forms, you usually have the same, it's a similar formula where it's like sales price and then all the expenses that are going to get paid, and this is what they're getting back. Okay. A HUD works the same way. Now, the reason we came up with the net equity worksheet is to bring down their mindset, right? From, 150 to this is actually the net, right? In order to negotiate. So that helps us negotiate. The reason when I'm dealing with a buyer, with a seller, and it's a FSBO, it's a for sale by owner, and I'm thinking of buying it, instead of using the car form, which I have access to, right? I use the net equity worksheet is because I hand them, in some cases, I will hand them a calculator, or I will show them a calculator as I'm going through it, and we handwrite it in front of them. So there's a mindset behind it. I don't walk in with the numbers already done. In this case, I did, because the lady's disabled. It's a different kind of people. But if I'm walking in with, a Tommy or a person that's educated, a person that, then I'm going to say, would you help me verify my numbers? And we go through one line at a time so that they see it, and mentally we're bringing them down. Sometimes I have them write it, or have them add them. I hand them a calculator and I go, okay, what's this? Because they're seeing it instead of me just telling them a number. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll cover that, but you don't do that unless you're sitting with the buyer. So you never do, not with the buyer, but with the seller. So getting back to your question, it depends on the kind of deal. So your job right now is to set up an appointment. That's pretty much it. If you think that it's some kind of a deal, then you set up the appointment, and you always say, I'm interested in buying it, or my partners and I are interested in buying your property. And then once you have the appointment, it's like, okay, let's crunch the numbers. Let's see what the different ideas are, or whatever. And then, we get to the next step later. So focus on step 1 first, setting up the appointment, for you guys. And of course, as much information as you can get from me, it makes it easier.
Right. Well, because the only bad part is it's on Zillow and they have an agent. That's the only bad part. You're
not looking for real estate deals then?
Well, no, I was looking for multifamily, and when you pull with those without agents, like for sale by owners, there's 9153 maybe, just barely.
Yeah, but
so
see,
that was just when I happened to look at it. It looked like it was a decent property, because all the other properties they're trying to set up like it's 2 houses on one, and they're trying to pretend it's like 2 separate houses. They want like 650,000 for 2 2-2-1s, and they want like 650,000-700,000 for it. It's like, that's not worth. That's like pretending like 2 houses, and it's not. And that's not a good deal. That's why I don't even.
Well,
yeah.
See, I don't. Here's the thing. There's a combination of things. First of all, what makes it a good deal? So a good deal, like I said, Ernest just paid retail for a property, but what makes it a good deal is the technique of buying it and the technique of cash flowing it.
Yeah.
That's what makes it a deal. But unless, so you guys aren't there yet because you don't know all these techniques.
Yeah.
So first, don't look on the MLS. Here's what made it a deal. We were able to talk to the seller directly. Okay, that's what really allowed us to structure that deal.
Yeah.
That's where it doesn't matter if you have a real estate license or not. I know, Luis, that you're licensed, but in this case, if you're representing a buyer or buying for yourself and you're on the MLS, This is a hot market. There's 20, 30 buyers and one seller. So
Yes.
you don't want to get in that competing road. The
I
way
know.
we're doing it, I'm not competing with realtors, and I'm really not competing with wholesalers or flippers, if you think about it.
With anybody.
Because this house that I'm getting, to give you an example, actually both of them, they weren't on the MLS.
Yeah.
Okay, key, it's not on the MLS, so don't look for them on the MLS. Okay, so both of these properties are not on the MLS. Here's the common denominator. This one, actually both of them, they would have been turned down by any realtor. Well, maybe not the other one. The other one would have probably been listed, but the seller would have gotten a lot less money, okay, because there would have been all these expenses. But if we would have, but anyway, the key thing is focus on the off-market deals. When it's off-market, you're either going to list it,
Yes.
you're going to buy it, or we're going to do a loan on it. But but we're talking to the seller directly. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's what I was looking for sale by owners. But like I said, there's hardly any that you can find
Go
like
to the
on
expired.
FISBO.
Go
Huh?
to the expireds. Remember now,
How do
if you're licensed,
Uh-huh.
you have access, and you're a realtor, you have access to the MLS. Okay.
Okay.
So an expired listing is good. We taught on this, actually, it might be in the back office, but an expired listing means that the property was listed, the seller couldn't, for some reason it didn't sell. That agent didn't, for some reason it didn't sell. So if you see expireds in any place within half an hour of here, of the Inland Empire, anywhere in the Inland Empire, anything that's expired, it didn't sell, usually it's because of the price, or there's something wrong with either somewhere. And usually we can buy it because the agent didn't know about terms. Maybe there's title issues, there's a whole bunch of stuff. But your approach is, hey, I'm interested in buying your property. So instead of calling them, I want to list it because these people are burned out. They listed it with an agent and that agent didn't perform. So they're like, oh, the calls that they're getting is, I'm the biggest and the baddest agent in the block. So don't have that approach. I would call them and say, hi, I'm interested in, my partners and I are interested in buying the property. And you set up an appointment to go see it. And then we go from there. But these are off market, but you can talk to them now. The only thing with those, just last thing, make sure that it hasn't been relisted.
And where do you usually find the expired listings at?
So if you go on the MLS, if you're licensed and you go in the MLS, you will see expired. So if you go on active, right, those are the ones that are actively on the market, and then you scroll down on that page and you'll see expireds, and then you put next to that, there's like a little box. Don't get all the expireds because it'll give you the expireds, for the last, I don't know how many years. So you're going to put a date or a range. You're going to put like from 1 to 30 days or 60 days that they expired. And then you'll get a list in whatever cities or whatever that you said.
And
You have access to the MLS, right?
That MLS website is just like MLS.com or like.
No. If you're licensed, are you a board member or no?
No.
Okay, yeah. So you need to get your tools, because this is so when you become a board member, so you're an agent, but not a realtor. When you're a realtor, and then you have access to the MLS, you have access to open doors to do a bunch of stuff. And right now we really need you guys to be board members because we have buyers that need to see property. And, Ernest and I are like I'm bogged down with we're buying properties, and then we have with the loans and stuff. So you guys are really leaving money on the table.
And for the to be a board member or whatever that is it just like a membership fee, or is it like you have to qualify for it?
No. If you're licensed, if you hold a real estate license, then you should become a realtor. So get with me or Ernest afterwards, because I don't want to, they'll give you the application and stuff. And then,
okay.
How to sign up and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And guys, I just want to tell you one more thing on that. Don't think as when you buy your tools, if you were to be a mechanic and had no tools, then you can't do your job,
Yeah,
right?
right.
If you're a taxi driver, if you're an Uber driver, okay, if you are in the Ubering business and you don't have a car, you cannot be an Uber driver and you cannot generate income.
Yes.
If your job is painting houses and you do not have paint, brushes and all this stuff, you cannot do your job. You guys understand what I'm saying? Don't think of these things because it's an expense. Think of it as your tools. You cannot go and make $5,000 or $10,000 on representing a buyer or a seller if you can't open the door and get them in there and you don't have access to filling out the contracts. So it's a tool that makes you money. It amazes me how people will go buy stuff that they don't need, stuff that's going to keep them broke. But yet, like this, they'll go spend, they'll go like this, they'll go spend money on something that's going to keep them broke. But yet, they're hesitant to buy something that's going to help them create wealth for them and their family. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This right here, is that an expense or is that a liability?
Expense.
Depends on how you use it.
That was a trick question.
Yeah.
If I ever spend money on a phone, which I haven't gotten a new phone in I don't know how many years. I keep upgrading to a used phone. Okay. But not because I can do that, but because I choose not to. It's just a preference. But if you're using any, you need a phone to make calls. I mean, that's I want you guys to really get it because some people continue to do that. So look at it as this is a tool for you to go make money as an investor. When you have your key, here's how powerful this is. I'm dragging this too long, but this is how powerful it is. I used to I don't do it right now, but back in the days, I used to get up early. Not that I don't get up early, but 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay. And the kids were in school and I would take them to school. And after I took them to school and stuff, I'd get back. And I had a habit of seeing all the new properties that hit the market, right? And sometimes I would go in there and if I see a good deal, I could just get up and go and see it, right? Because I had the tools. I had my Supra, whatever. I just go open the door. Oh, I want to buy it. I don't want to buy it. Or, hey, this is perfect for John Doe, whatever it is, right?
Right.
Somebody that's an investor and doesn't have the tools, okay, they have to call their realtor. Hey, this property just popped up. Can I go see it right now? He goes, well, I have appointments all day. We can see it Wednesday. And this is Monday. And by that time, and especially in today's market, it's gone. So whether you want to be an investor or not, you want to have access to looking at properties. And if you're licensed, then you're wasting your time by not having the right tools. Because a lot of properties are just going to come and go and you're not going to have access to them. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an investment. It's a great investment in your business,
Yes.
And so anyway, okay. Any other questions? And then we'll wrap it up. I haven't seen what's on the chat. I don't know if there's questions.
No, there's no questions.
There's no questions. Okay. Any questions, guys?
I got one on that property that I told you about that's got it's all boarded up. I can't get a hold of the guy, but I do have a property profile on it. Can I call you on it and see what I can do to try to find out where I can get a hold of the guy?
So this is the one that's boarded, you said?
Yeah, one that's boarded up.
Yeah. Yeah. See,
Okay.
let's see who owns it. And then did you try to skip trace them?
I'm sorry?
Did you try to skip trace them and find numbers?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I found 2 numbers and I've called them, but I haven't got any response out of those 2 numbers. But it looks like they might have got a divorce too. So, and I'm trying to make sure, who owns it or if it did go through foreclosure. But like you say, being it's boarded up, it probably has, but it doesn't really clarify that.
Well,
And
if you
at least
pull
I
it
can.
on like Property Radar or wherever
Yeah.
who the owner is,
Yeah.
then, you'll find that out real quick. Okay, yeah, just let me know and then we'll pull it up. You have property
Okay.
radar, don't you?
Yeah, I got,
You have
yeah,
property
I've got a phone.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, just pull it up and see if it's owned by the bank already. If it went back, it'll show that they own it.
yeah, okay, Cal, because it
Yeah.
doesn't, it shows that they're still the owner, so,
Okay. So yeah, and then if they're still the owner, then we just have to chase after them.
okay, all right,
Okay, anybody else?
okay.
Hey, let's do it, guys. Next week, we'll let you know when we're gonna have the training, or if not, we'll like send you a message or something.
All
Okay.
right.
Okay, so we book it. And then you
Alright.
guys start thinking of a good subject, and then we'll hit it a little bit deeper. We'll finish up with foreclosures and maybe go into more detail with the net equity worksheet and whatever, but give me some ideas on what you want to cover, okay?
Mhm.
Okay,
All right, guys.
Right.
Have a
Yeah,
good night.
have a
Take
good
care.
All right then. Good
Bye.
night to all.
Bye.
Good
Yeah.
night.
Bye bye.